So many of the terms that philosophers use, the things philosophers talk about, the things humans think about that they need philosophers to help understand, maybe. God, freedom, right and wrong, morality, virtue, substance, being. So many of these, it starts with language, right? We're describing some features of the world, and the language does build like a snowball, right? This is what Hume helps us to do, to get down to where that snowball really came from, what it really started growing from. So Hume asks us to trace these terms back to the ideas that originate them. These ideas have to start from the senses. So when we talk about free will, for instance, we need to trace that back to the sense experience that this is built from. Now, of course, a lot of these things, God and whatnot, they first enter our vocabulary through other people, right? Other people give us these terms. So we're tracing back, what could these other people be talking about when they talk about God, when they talk about the divine, when they talk about reality? What are all these other people talking? So we actually, for Hume, we do have to trace that back to some sense impression. We've got to melt the snowball down to the core that's been experienced. Now, I don't think Hume's the end-all, be-all of this. I think there's places to go from there, but I think it's interesting to notice just how therapeutic philosophy tends to be, just how much it's oriented towards helping us to untangle a web of words, a web of ideologies maybe that's been put on us. Now, a lot of philosophers will just load you down with more ideology, but in there, and I think it is the skeptics, the people who try to see reality through multiple perspectives, through multiple languages. I think it's the skeptics who really get this right. I mean, not just the skeptics, right? Leibniz, who is my personal hero, in a lot of ways. Don't look up Madagascar or the Egypt plan, but in a lot of ways, Leibniz is my hero. He says this really bizarre thing, that most philosophers are right in what they affirm and wrong in what they deny. Right? Leibniz is someone who tries to describe the reality he's seeing, the reasons he's seeing in lots of different philosophical languages, right? He tries to make his points to people with diverse perspectives. He tries to see the truth through those perspectives, through this set of terms, that set of terms. Anyway, so not that Hume is the end-all, be-all here, but seeing the work it does. Now, I want to read you the last little bit of Hume's inquiry. I actually don't have a copy of this. This is from my Professor Rogers' anthology. Roger Aria and Eric Watkins. It's a good one. But I just want to read the last little paragraph from Hume's inquiry. Right? He says, committing ourselves to, these are the ways of knowing things. These are the kinds of truths, and this is the way these truths enter into our minds. Thinking about that, what do we really know? What do other people really have to tell us? I'm about to say more about testimony, but when we run over libraries, this is the last paragraph in Hume's inquiry. When we run over libraries persuaded of these principles, what havoc must we make if we take in our hand any volume of divinity or school metaphysics? Let me take into my hand Suarez on creation, conservation, and concurrence, the metaphysical disputations. When we take in our hands any volume of divinity or school metaphysics, for instance, let us ask, does it contain any abstract reasoning concerning quantity or number? Interject. If it does, we get knowledge. Those are relations of ideas, right? We can pick up Euclid and absolutely see the truth of it. All right, so does it contain any abstract reasoning concerning quantity or number? No. Does it contain any experimental reasoning? Does it contain any experimental reasoning concerning matter of fact and existence? Is it telling us what other people have actually experienced? No? Commit it then to the flames, for it can contain nothing but sophistry and illusion. That's what Hume thinks his empiricism is for. Now, I've followed that empiricism forward a little bit. Read some Quine. There's a way to learn from things that don't have those things, right? To take in multiple perspectives. But for looking at the terms, the language that maybe is controlling you, that maybe is closing your mind or something along those lines. Yeah, tracing it back, right? Tracing it back to the actual sources of knowledge that could be behind these terms. It's a really valuable thing. It's a really valuable skill to have, not only for, being a philosopher or being a smart, educated person who does well on a job, but for freedom, for living your life, not someone else's life. I'm going to stop there. Love y'all.